Once again, very good evening to all of you. Respected chief guest for the evening, Mr. Gevorg Sargsyan. Our special guest, Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, our own globally acclaimed governor of our central bank. Diplomats from our patron countries, our consuming countries, some of the key countries who are big supporters of Ceylon tea. His Excellency Ambassador for Russia, His Excellency Ambassador for Turkey, His Excellency Ambassador for Iran, and Deputy Ambassador for Japan. Thank you all for being here. We also amongst us, other key invitees, we have bankers, chief executives and top officials of bankers who started on a new journey of cooperation for improving the Ceylon tea exports and easing the transactions. Chairman, Sri Lanka Tea Board, none other than our own Mr. Niraj Dimel. Officials of the Tea Board, the Tea Commissioner, the Director General, officials of the Plantation Ministry, and other government officials, and of course, my dearest colleagues in the trade, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, the ladies part is to be emphasized, even though I don't see many of them right now, but we did have a program to invite more ladies into our midst, and it is improving. So that's something that we would like to very proudly say, that a lot of effort and initiative is being done. I was not lucky enough to get my first EXCO lady member. I'm sure Josefa will be the lucky person to have that. And talking about luck, who are also in good luck today, because your new incoming chairman is a man of few words, but a man of a lot of power-packed action, of course. And that means me speaking today is going to be too much of a contrast to what he is going to speak. So I have to also keep it brief. So be rest assured that I will try to keep it as brief as possible, unlike other years. And in fact, your organizing committee has planned another set of a round of drinks because they expect the evening to finish quite early. So let's hope for that. It'll be against my nature, but I will try my best. So my sharing of thoughts today is about two major points. One is giving you a quick overview of what the TEA has been about since we are on our Silver Jubilee AGM, as well as highlight some of the challenges that the TEA or the tea exporters as a whole, or as industrialists and businessmen in this country are facing, and make some suggestions, make some calls, especially at a time when people may be listening to us, or at least trying to listen to us, with the elections looming. Make these calls, this clarion call to the powers to be. So this is what this speech is, or my sharing of thoughts is going to be all about. So standing in front of you, after 25 years of the Tea Exporters Association, it's apt to just give you a very, very quick introduction to how it all started. So about 30 years ago, I understand Mr. D. Ishwaran, who happens to be my father, there is no reason why I am here by any means, along with a few of his trade colleagues, started a small initiative to address the pricing issues that Ceylon tea was getting, especially when there were tenders that were to be bidded for by the Sri Lankan exporters. So that was the first initiative more than 30 years ago in the mid-90s that there was an initiative to bring exporters together. And thereafter, in 1999, by none other than Mr. Nirmala Ranasinghe, being the kingmaker and a coordinator, he would like to humbly call himself, but he was the powerhouse behind the initiative of creating the Tea Exporters Association in a formal manner where the tea exporters came together to talk to the government in one voice, to other authorities in one voice, for the benefit and improvement of the tea exports as a whole. So, interesting way to look at what we have done over the years would be to focus on a few numbers. So I would like you to just imagine these numbers. I'm not going to show graphs, especially in the interest of time. 1999, Sri Lanka exported 263 million kilos. 1999, 263 million kilos. We earned US dollars $598 million. So 263 million kilos, 598 at an FOB value per kilo of $2.26. Forget about the Instagram story. This is where we were 25 years ago. And 2023, we exported 242 million kilos, about 20 million kilos less, but we are earning US dollars 1.3 billion for our country. 25 years hence, we have exported less, but we have doubled our export revenue in terms of dollars. Unfortunately, gentlemen, we are very humble. We never give ourselves a pat on our backs. So I suggest each one of you give a big person sitting next to you, because we have in 25 years. And that story is not only about exports. I would like also to focus on another important aspect, because today's theme is about sustainability and growing tea exports responsibly. And that means share across the value chain. The auction in 1999, the price that the exporters paid at the auction per kilo was $2.07. And now it is $3.64. We have improved and increased that auction value by more than 75% in dollar terms. And that, thanks to our transparent and well-governed auction system, when 98% of the teas go through the auction system, and the green, where 7% of every dollar that is, or rupee that is paid, is assured by the tea board, regulated, and goes to the tea smallholders who are responsible for producing 75% of the 242 million that we exported. Now this, gentlemen, is the impact that the exporters have been able to create by making sure the lives and livelihoods of almost 10% of our population is taken care of. Now, this is something at the TEA meetings and maybe peppered a little bit here at some newspaper articles, but this is not really understood and appreciated and recognized by the wider public. So we would like this to be very clearly understood and explained. We are the largest value-adding country in the world when it comes to agricultural produce like tea. The tea exporters add more than 55% in value addition if you take up to 10 kilos of packages as value-added teas. 40 is the usual 3 kilo pack as value-added teas, which again is a great achievement. When we meet people of other countries, like producing countries like India, Kenya, they are all in awe of what Sri Lanka has achieved by the tea trade, by the Sri Lanka Tea Board, the regulation that we do. This is something that we have done well. Okay, all that is great news. We have definitely done a great job, and we can be thankful and show our gratitude to all those people who have been toiling in that value chain. However, generally I have seen our industry being looked at as somewhat of a industry of a different age. I mean, not because of the average age in this hall, but in terms of the average age of the tea bush itself, we are considered slightly a graying rather than a greening industry. But this graying can be turned around and made green again because the world, the consumers around the world, are looking for our teas, which is resonating and proven by the dollars that we have been able to earn. So this is what we have achieved in terms of the Tea Exporters Association. However, no chairman's, or especially the outgoing chairman's speech is complete without lamenting a little bit about the challenges that we face. Especially we have the likes of our central bank governor. I mean, this is not another meeting where we come crying to you, sir, but there are many other challenges that we face. The tea exporters are more outward looking, as you know. We go out to the world. We are our teas are sold in more than 130 countries. The exporters are a crazy bunch. The Schleswig people will know. We take huge risks in extending credit to countries that you might even find it difficult to spot on a map. The exporters take such risks. And we have been thrown several challenges. You know, recently the freight rates have tripled. We still have to continue to export. The countries that love these, unfortunately, are also in many challenges and difficulties in terms of war situations, in terms of sanctions, which are all very, very unfortunate. A small country like ours, who is trying our best to get up one single great product that we have, apart from cricket, which many such countries don't understand, even that is in a bad state. But this one single product that we want to reach to all these countries are thrown such challenges in terms of getting the payments through and so on and so forth. Apart from the global we face, we are also time to time thrown a spanner into our works by our own government and our own authorities. I mean, that's unfortunately the case. If the question was asked, okay, in 1999, 262 million kilos, in 2018, we were 340 million kilos that were exported, but we came down in 2024 to again 242 million kilos, even though we were able to keep our prices high. If we had the volume also high, this would be a $3 billion industry by now, improving the livelihoods of even more people. Why are we in this situation? It is because of those little obstacles that we are always asked to jump over in our country. Be it the ban on glyphosate, be it the ban on the chemical fertilizer, and of course the looming threat that we have is the removal of the cashless SWAT system that we are all currently using, that will put the industry in great peril by March 2025. The taxation as a whole impacts our country, all our industries, but the charging of VAT on a commodity which is 90% agriculture commodity, which is 90% exported, of a whopping 15%, and expecting that cash to be paid only to be refunded, you know, if it gets refunded. This is the threat that the industry is currently facing. So I'm not sure, especially the people who have the ears of the people who could make decisions, understand this, but the removal of the cashless refund mechanism of SWAT threatened to be imposed on us on March 25 can be another huge problem as big as the fertilizer ban, as big as the glyphosate ban. So these are the kind of challenges we face, but we tea exporters are a resilient lot. We've always faced these challenges, and we will continue to overcome even this clear and present danger. And talking about taxes, I wish to quote a short Tamil poem, which is over 2,000 years old, from the Sangam literature. My friend reminded me last year I made a Tamil quote. I didn't realize that people were listening, so at least one person listened. He asked me if I was going to make another Tamil quote. Yes, this is something that would be interesting for especially people who have the responsibility to govern. And we are told, another quote comes to my mind, where the government is at its best when governing is at its least, when they don't need to govern. So here is a poem, is a piece of advice given by the poet 2,000 plus years ago. The name of the poet is Pisiran Dayar. He is advising his friend, the king, whose name is Arivudai Nambi, which means the one who is smart. Yes, those days the rulers were even named like that. The poem, the land into which the elephant walked in. In fact, this poem was made popular by its recitation at the Indian Parliament by the finance minister a few years ago. So I will read a few lines and quickly go through the meaning. Kai koline ma niraiva illa agum arivudai venda neriya ko naadu peridum nandum யானை புக்க நிலம் போல தானும் உண்ணான் உலகமும் கெடுமே. So there's a little picture here. What it really means is, it will only take mounds of rice, few bowls of cooked rice to feed an elephant from a very small piece of land. But if the elephant itself goes into the land to eat the paddy by itself, the elephant will eat much less than the amount of paddy that it's going to trample under its feet. So the way the government should work is to allow the industry, people like us, to do what is right, and allow us, the industry and the people like us, to share the harvest, at the same time reinvest the harvest, instead of the government coming in and trying to trample the whole thing. So this, I thought, is important that we share this poem, so that the idea gets very clearly into a time when new horizons are being looked at by the people who are going to go on the 21st of September to select our new government. The private sector and the public sector work in a very within the tea industry, especially at the tea board. We have great opportunity to contribute, to work together. Extend this even further, where we will be able to be part of the research that is being done for tea, the tea promotion that is being done through the government, which has been quite ineffective, as well as engaging with the smallholders to improve their engagement, to their connectivity, so that we will be able to take the level of $3 billion. We have proven that these steps are possible by the, for example, the e-platform that the private sector on its own initiative within a very short period implemented, And if we are given the opportunity by the government in a very structured manner, we will be able to turn this industry around. And that is the reason we have with us today the country head of the World Bank. The question was asked why you're calling the World Bank. We said, naturally, we come to the place where the money is. And we know we have a very energetic and an enthusiastic new country manager. So this is our great opportunity to see how to invest back into our industry so that we can sustainably grow this industry to a next level, thus improve the livelihoods also of our countrymen. The one thing that exporters have done last year and the previous year as well is to go to some of the deep places where the tea smallholders are having their meetings. We support their children with books, as well as we also, you have some pictures, Imesh, to share, as well as we also do, no, those are the wrong pictures. Yeah, so there you see Ranjit is giving away some of these to some of these children. So these are the ways in which we make sure that sustainability is achieved. And sustainability can be achieved only when there is equity, and we request our government to make sure that this equity is extended even into the plantation sector. Right, so I do believe I broke the promise of brevity, and I'm sure that your new chairman will make sure that that is conducted well. But when I took over this position 2 years ago, I spoke about the chairman from whom I took over this, Sanjay Herath. So I take this opportunity to thank him for giving me, or rather pushing me into this. And we spoke about how big his shoes were for someone to fill. He had literally very big shoes, as you all know. But now, and I know that it is not about filling shoes, but it is about standing on big shoulders. The shoulders of people who have created this institution, who have sustained this institution, who have worked giving their own personal time, pure improvement and engagement of this great trade. And I take this opportunity to, on the 25th year, make a presentation, make a humble, respectful recognition to all those chairmen and people who have created as a mark of respect and gratitude to these gentlemen. So may I invite my immediate committee members, Josefa, the chairman. I'm still saying I'm sorry, it's Josefa, it's yours. So please do come, Josefa, to conduct this little recognition ceremony. And Jopi and Mahinda, please do to come on stage so that we get the privilege of being inspired as well as showing our respect and honor to these great gentlemen. In the meantime, let me also very quickly thank this great team, along with the irreplaceable Ranjit and Dilumi, who have been part of this secretariat. Let me thank all of you for giving me this opportunity to serve you for the last 2 years. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now we give it to Adam to conduct this particular recognition. Thank